Happy Monday, Truthers. Hope you had a wonderful and an amazing weekend. Hope you had the chance to do you, relax, and rejuvenate. It's time for our 10 minutes of truth, our 10 minutes of word for us to get anchored in as we start this week. This word is going to help us, truthers, to stay focused on Jesus, not focus on what we see in the news, focus on what's on our news feed, focus on our emotions, our feelings, our circumstance. This time is for us to get grounded and carry this word with us today and throughout the week. Today, stop striving. Find your grace spot. Truthers, so many of us never get to the place that God has called us to because we are striving. I'll be honest, most people that I have had conversations with, especially since last year, but in general, they are tolerating life. They're not happy in life. They're not joyful in life. They're not peaceful in life. This is how you know this. It's, oh, I have to get up and go to this job today. Oh, I have to deal with my family today. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do that. There is no real joy and peace in what they are doing. And that is because I believe we have not found our grace spot. See, grace is God's unearned, undeserved, unmerited favor. It's his kindness towards us. And how does that look in our lives? When you are in your grace spot, you are not striving. It doesn't feel like stress. It doesn't feel like a headache. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have a challenge. That means you're not getting up dreading going to work. You're not getting up dreading going to volunteer. You're not getting up dreading going to deal with your family, your kids, etc. And so you say, Sparkle, how do we get to that place? How do we get to the point where we are not just dreading life every day? Because to be honest, that's what most of us do, even as believers. We think that we're just supposed to tolerate life until we get to heaven. But that is a lie from the pit of darkness, truthers. The word, John 10:10 says, but Jesus has come so that we may have life and have life more abundantly. Abundant life is the good life, truthers. Abundant life is joy. It's peace. It's delight. It's having fun. It's not being stressed and striving all the time. And many people around you, many people that you know, many people that you see even on the TV screens, they are not in their grace spot. They are in a place that they have tolerated or that they have just kind of gotten into by osmosis or by some name or place. It's not really what they want to do. If you sit down and talk to people, most people are not doing what they want to do. They're not in their grace spot. The grace spot is the thing that God has anointed you to do. The grace spot is the thing you do naturally. It's not about making a lot of money. It's not about the title. It's not about feeling good. Your grace spot is the thing that God has called you to do, that when you do it, you are fulfilled. It fills up your soul. You can do it every day, all day, in your sleep. You will do it if nobody ever paid you anything. And that looks different for all of us. Some people, that is being an encouragement. Some people, that's being a giver. Some people, that is planting flowers. That is some people planning events. For some people, that is helping people get out of debt. For some people, that is relationship counseling. Some people, that is therapy. Some people, that is being a nurse or a doctor. We're not going to confine it to a career or to a job. I'm saying when you are in your grace spot, it is the place where striving is out the window, where stress is out the window. Yes, you may come up against uphill battles, but you know this is what you're called to do. It's what you naturally do without anybody having to give you any direction for, any money for. It just flows. It flows out of you. As you go into this week, I am challenging you along with myself. Ask the Holy Spirit, where am I striving? Help me find my grace spot. Because where your grace spot is, that's where your contentment is. Where your grace spot is, that's where your peace is. Where your grace spot is, that is where your joy is at. So many people are unhappy about returning back to work after this pandemic because you know what? They really don't want to go. They don't want to be there, but they got to pay the bills, right? They got to have food on the table. And I get that. Sparkle's not telling you to go and quit your job unless God has told you to. But what I am saying is we know Jehovah Jireh, our provider. And we have to get to a point in our lives, truth, where we're not just reading the word, we're not just quoting scriptures, but that we are truly believing and following Jesus. Aren't we tired of religion? Aren't we tired of just going to church, watching sermons, but never seeing our lives change? Your life changes when you actually start doing those things that you are reading, that when those scriptures come to life, when you start actually applying that Jehovah Jireh, my provider, when that becomes your truth that, okay, Lord, if I step out here in the deep, you are going to be my provider. You're going to make the provision for me. Even though I am afraid, yet I know you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. It's easy to say, your rod and your staff comforts me when I'm in my sweet spot, when I'm not in an uncomfortable place, truthers, when I haven't stepped out into the deep. I can quote that all day long. When I'm not in the place where I need that to be applied. In your grace spot, you apply that because that's what you're relying on. You're not relying on your good looks. You're not relying on your smarts. You're not relying on the paycheck. You're not relying on the education. You're not relying on the network and the people that you know. You are relying on Jesus. Your grace spot is, Lord, this is what's in my heart. I believe that you have called me to do. This is what I'm good at, whether it's cooking, whether it's baking, whether it's making sales, whether it's travel plans. You have called me to do this to help your kingdom, and you're going to have the provision for it. You're going to provide the money. You're going to provide the safety. You're going to set this up in the way that I need. Go into this week seeking the grace spot, your grace spot. Many of us are praying and asking for relief in our current situations. We, since the pandemic, are trying to figure out what to do next. And the truth is, I believe in my heart, the Holy Spirit and Abba does not want us to go back to where we were in 2019, truthers. He doesn't want us back to striving. He doesn't want you back in stress. Do you think he likes seeing you stressed out? Do you think he likes the fact that you don't want to get up in the morning and do these things that you're doing? He has not called you to tolerate life. He's called you to love your life here on earth. That's not in heaven, here on earth. Life more abundantly here. He has called you for enjoyment here. And your enjoyment is connected to you finding your grace spot and stop striving. Stop trying to make things work. Stop trying to say, oh, well, I just have to do this because there's nothing else for me to do. I mean, I can't get income anyplace else. I have to do this to take care of my kids. We have to get to a point that we say, Lord, I am going to do this for as long as you are providing, while I am yet praying that you move me into my grace spot and you're going to provide for me in that way. That's true faith, truthers. That's real getting out there in the deep. That is really getting out of the boat and walking on water. And I know it's scary, and I know it's not easy, and I know this is not a sexy message, and it's not intended to be. This is really calling us out, myself included, as believers and as truthers, to really stop the stressing and the striving in everyday life, to relinquish that control and to say, Lord, this is what I feel like you are calling me to. This is my sweet spot. This is the place that you have given me favor. You just let stuff flow out of me. I create things out of my hands. People just come. Bless that, Father. Make that abundantly more for your kingdom. Make it sufficient for my family, for my needs, and the provision that I need. That is finding your grace spot. Will you this week Ask the Holy Spirit, not for another thing, not for another car, not for another house, not for more money, not to feel better about yourself. Will you ask the Holy Spirit to point you to your grace spot, to help you stop striving, and to help you find the place of grace? I pray this word blesses you today. I pray that it moves you into prayer, into intimacy with the Holy Spirit. I pray the Lord continues to bless you, to keep you, to shine his face upon you and give you much peace and move and breathe in you. And I will be back with you as always next week with more truth. Have a blessed week.